Okay, well, thank you very much to another edition of Taiwan Talk. And today we're very happy to have with us here a very old and good friend. I should say a very good friend of ICRT.
I am old too.
Okay, but I won't say that. Jason Hu, of course, you were the mayor of Taichung for many years, and many people probably still remember the mayor. And but you're also a very good friend of the international community. I think you've worked with the international community in central Taiwan, helped us do many events. And I think you've always been a friend helping ICRT too. We want to thank you. But you've also been a person who's devoted much of your career to helping Taiwan, working in the foreign ministry, working in the GIO, even being the rep to the United States. So I think we're very happy to have you here and also on the publication of your recent book, 我是胡志强今天来报到.
对.
And you are 报道 right now with us. So maybe let's set it up and talk about you as a person. And so you came to Taiwan as a very young infant, I would assume. And so what was it like growing up back in the old days in Taichung?
I really don't remember when I came to Taichung or Taiwan.
You were too young.
I obviously was small. There were people in Taichung kept arguing that I was born in Taichung. So it said they saw me grew up, but seeing me growing up might not mean that I was born there. They were helping me. I was running for this and running for that. And being born in Taichung is an element of complementary and an element that will help you to get votes. But my mother, I don't think she would lie to me, said I was born during the war in Beijing. And I was in Taiwan perhaps 3, 4, 5 months old. Nobody cared, and I was nobody too. And I didn't think I would grow up to be somebody. I'm satisfied to be nobody. I was a little child who had nothing and grew up with nothing special. Working opportunity obviously and actually came to me. I didn't go and try to get this job, that job, to try to stand on the shoulder of other people. I honestly didn't do that. It's natural. Me, growing up naturally, being a natural Jason Hu. I did admit one thing. I have a special relationship with ICRT. When I grew up, I learned my English from a thing you obviously know, U.S. Armed Forces Radio, and then ICRT. Until I work in the government, which is the Director General of Government Information Office, when we discuss the licensing of ICRT, I always strongly argue that Taipei, wanting to be an international city, cannot go without an international radio network, and high-quality radio network like ICRT. I talk too much. Thank you.
No, you didn't talk too much.
Thank you for the plug. And let me just ask a quick follow-up question. I know Hope has some very good questions too. And that is something which you just kind of touched on, is how ICRT is important for having an English environment in Taiwan. And I'm very curious, for a person like you, growing up before the internet and stuff like that, how were you able to develop such good English skills, other than listening to ICRT?
I did listen. I didn't listen to ICRT. I listened to the U.S. Armed Forces Radio. I think they call it Taiwan too, right? At the end, U.S. Armed Forces Radio in Taiwan.
But so how is your English so good today?
To me, it's the same thing. I don't think my English is good. I think your Chinese is good.
Okay.
But I try very hard. Because my mom was not happy with my English ability. Keep losing her faith in the neighborhood of some American dependents whose family was partly in Vietnam. That was the height of the Vietnam War when I grew up. And, when you're nagging by your mom, it's a terrible thing in your life, you know. Mommies are always nagging. And so I worked very hard. I built myself a little America in my small bedroom. I listen and read and talk all in English. I'll tell you a secret. Let's not tell anybody else. One day I think I should try to sing a song. I love Red River Valley. So I found a black plastic record and a radio player and lyrics printed on a sheet of paper. I started playing the song, and I told myself, my God, I got it wrong. It's totally wrong song, wrong script. It was not. I just cannot comprehend. I don't listen well. I don't read well. I don't receive well. It took me about 3 months to learn a song. And then after that, it's easy. Now, if you ask me how to learn a foreign language, I would say, do it the way you learn your mother tongue. Keep listening. When we were small, when mother say, shut up, we always shut up. Stand up, we always stand up. And then you start to murmur what you understood. And then you say something, write something, you read something. I think that's the natural way. And I began learning English in that way.
How many of these stories made it into your book?
Not many. I'm an old man. There's so much thing to write in. To be honest with you, I think all writers will tell you the same thing. It is only after you finish your book, then you remember how many more you didn't put in. And when you see somebody, I see Hope here. I now remember I didn't put her in. I see ICRT.
Your next book, okay?
I see ICRT. I didn't put the trouble ICRT face and how hard you survive. My admiration. It was not a major topic in the book. That's what.
If you had to pick a story that you should have put in the book but didn't put in the book, what story would that be?
I would put in more how my wife helped me and understood me and never complained. And even after she became First Lady of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, she would go out with me to foreign countries. And she was so sleepy because of jet lag, but she has to go to the ceremonies, see the parade, lay flower to the Marshall Memorial, all these things that she was not very much interested in. She just want to go back and sleep, but she never complained. All she did was next time when I'm ready to go out, she would tell me, I'm not going. You go work. It's not my work. I don't have to go. So I didn't write it in my book. I probably did. Forgot. If people ask me after retirement, you don't do any job? I say, I have a full-time job. What is it? Take care of my wife. Because I missed the opportunity for whole my life. I need to pay her back. She never complained. I don't want to wait until she complains. Tim would know when your wife complains, it's a terrible thing to happen. To endure.
Or when your colleagues complain too. we won't get into that. I'm kind of curious, with your book, what's the main message you want to share with the audience about your book?
I honestly, after writing the whole book, I told myself, maybe somebody read this book, he could decide whatever he wants to do, just do it. I'm not selling any shoes.
Okay. I was going to ask you about that.
But just do it. You know, once you kept doing it, You may get there. You never know.
What part of your life do you think best informed you to become a public servant? First at the GIO, which I remember with great fondness, and then at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
I really don't know how to answer that question because I never really set eye on a position or job and say, I got to do that. I told myself after I got my degree, PhD, I want to be a teacher, professor. And I thought I'd be there forever. A happy professor. I worked very hard. I was a good professor. Believe me, ask all my students. I have that confidence. I didn't know I'd make a turn and go into the government. I didn't know I'd become press secretary of the president or become government spokesman or information minister or ambassador to the United States, foreign minister, mayor of Taichung. I never thought I could do all this. But when it comes, what else? Don't complain. Don't evade. Do your best. I just do my best.
Of everything you did as minister, as GIO, head of the Government Information Ministry, as foreign minister, as ambassador, as mayor, what are you most proud of? Is it the position or what you accomplished?
I have to say now, if it's not the fact of I become a mayor of Taichung, I would not understand what Tip O'Neill say, all politics is local. Because even if you are the president, you have to understand the people. Even if you are foreign minister, you still have to understand the people on the street, not just in this country, but also in your related country. Don't ignore what's in the mind of the people and what the people need. I now believe, not many people say this, whoever wants to be a high official in the government must go through election first. Probably not even so in the States, but still, I think if you go through election, you then know everything comes from them. And you should look at them and tell yourself, what can I do for them? Not wait until they tell you what they want. The Chinese has a proverb said, 人在宫门好修行. That means if you're in the government, it's a great time to do justice to yourself.
Just now you've mentioned twice, just do it. And I think your tenure as being mayor kind of was what you were doing. Things like the Jazz Festival, the Opera House. Many of these programs at the time, I remember a lot of people were kind of like criticizing you, saying, well, come on, that's a crazy dream. You're going to have Pavarotti come to Taiwan. And then he came to Taiwan. So that was kind of your mindset back then, is just do it. And now many of these things have turned out now to be successful. The Jazz Fest is still going on year after year. The Opera House has been built. What was it that caused you at the time to realize that these are the things you needed to do, even though many people said, you're crazy?
I think there's a famous French philosopher, I forgot his name, said, nothing could stand against the force of an idea whose time has come. Mm-hmm. I agree with it in two senses. First, you have to lead the people. You don't wait until everybody push you. Say, why don't you get Pavarotti here? You lead, and they're happy. Secondly, sometimes you ask yourself, am I going too quick? Am I going too far? The failure of Guggenheim made me think for a long time. Maybe I'm too early. People are not ready for it. Yeah, I don't blame other people. when it failed, I asked myself, I don't have the answer yet. It's hard for me to admit that I think too far. It's my mistake. I think I had the right idea, but people are not ready for it. What can you say? So I failed. But if I succeed, Taichung will be even more different. I've been Guggenheim.
Okay. Today, the world faces a very turbulent circumstance. Things are ever shifting. There's very little stability at the moment. What would you say to government officials that are trying to navigate all this?
I would really say that you said the right thing. We're at a very turbulent time in terms of global affairs. There are more war than perhaps any time in the past 50 years. All still fighting with no end. Many people being killed or tortured or hungered to death in the war. And many potential mines are being laid in the ground, and we don't know when they would explode or kill people. And also, I think there's a man who changed history. He did not start any more war, but he started a global conflict fighting with tariff. And the global financial order may be changed. Free trade may not be there. I mean, we're not looking at a new world order that fighting with physical weapons. And that may change a lot of things. And a lot of people will suffer. The result or the devastation it may bring may be even harder, maybe the same as a war. I don't know. So the world is changing. But I don't know. So the world is changing. But I would say a government, small, not strong enough, or big, whatever, should know your bottom line. You cannot ignore your own bottom line and try to do everything your opponents want you to do. There's no end to that. Like doing business, actually. We're not doing business with a businessman leader of another country. Businessmen want everything they could get. There's no end to it. You think the rich man, once you got rich, Tim, you will stop it somewhere?
I'm still trying to get rich, but okay.
No. Once you get rich, you learn you want to be more rich. Terrible thing is no end to it. So you have to set your own bottom line. Sorry, if it affects my national security, there's no way I could retreat. What do you want? A war? There will be no real military conflict. There will be tougher situation. But how tougher can it be if you're back on your national security? And then basic need of your country, the farmers, the fishermen, the small and medium industries, the huge industry, the major industry may be able to protect themselves or do something. But all the others need the protection of the government. You cannot forget about your bottom line just to please your opponent in such a turbulent world. Once you insist upon preserving your bottom line, I think your opponent will respect you.
Of everything that you've done, and if somebody were to ask you to write your own epitaph, what do you want people to remember you by? And how do you want people to remember you?
I don't know. I know what I would do. my final word to the friend, to the world, to other people is thank you. I grew up a very humble person. I've been helped by so many people. No one can do all the job by himself, even if you're president or minister or ambassador or mayor or whatever. So what you can say is thank you. You appreciate what other people have done for the community, for the world. They didn't do it for you. So you don't need to be remembered. I know that people may not believe me, but I honestly think so. You don't have to remember me. Just try to make the world better.
Okay, so maybe finally, as we wrap up this conversation, you've mentioned many things which I think are important lessons that young people could learn from. And so if you were to conclude this conversation, what do you feel is and your many years in public service, what do you feel is the true lessons you've learned from public service? And how would you want to inspire young people? You know, you mentioned that there's many problems facing the world today. So how do you inspire young people to be concerned and to work to build a better world?
I know we're running out.
Easy question, huh?
I know we're running out of our time. But to the young people and their parents, I do have something to say. I now have many friends who are very successful in their own endeavor. And they sometimes would tell me, there's something wrong with my son. I sent him to United States to study, and he got a degree. He liked music. I bought him a house. I bought him a brand new piano and a sport car, golf clubs, and now he doesn't want to return. I have such a big company. What do? I said, you made your son a musician. Why do you complain? He didn't do this himself. And you help him this way to be the way he wants. Then you think of a way to solve your own problem. Don't force him to do your job. They have their own vision, their future. And, we can always solve our own problem. And he kept complaining. They're playing golf all the time. Don't work. No formal work. Just I pay for their bills. I said, we're going to give the whole world to them. Like it or not. They're going to inherit everything we have. So don't worry. It's their future. It's their world. They want it, whatever they want. I read in a I don't know where. There's a young man, who said, I really want a job that I work only 1 day a week. The rest, I will enjoy my life. Now I pay, it's okay. I don't eat much. I live with my parents. If this is his opinion, if this is a trend, the future will be, what can you do? Let it be.
Okay. Let it be, but don't tell my staff that they can only work 1 day a week, okay? I think we'll have a little bit of problems.
I think she needs a raise.
Thank you so much.
You're speaking the magic words. Yes, you are. I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thanks to seeing an old friend.
2 old friends here.
2 old friends.
Exactly.
That was wonderful.
And also, I want to thank you for the international community in Taiwan, because I think you have done a lot over the years to help them, to help ICRT, and the things you did in Taichung to build a more international friendly city too.
Indeed.
And so we want to thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I'm very happy.